Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to our respective lecturer. We are from group number 3, which is consists with 3 group members. The first one is Siti Azra Adina binti Azmil Shah, metric number 215178, Anis Iriani binti Muhammad Rizwan 210852, and me, Nuriada Hidayah binti Muhammad Taufik 214552. Today, we will explain about the topic the Royal Malaysian Custom Department. Okay, the first one is about the history. In the history part, there is 5 things in this section. The first one is early history of tax administration. The tax administration system existed during before the Western colonialists, which is during the Malacca Sultanate and Johor Riau Sultanate. And during this time, the regulation and part that relating to the tax structure involving the foreigner and the local person. And in this time, the person that in charge about the taxes thing is the chief of the exchequer. And the next one is the tax administration in the Strait Settlement and Federated Malay State. The establishment of the Strait Settlement was administered by a body that we call East India Company. Even though the Strait Settlement was established, the previous tax still maintained, and all the custom are handled by a government monopolist. This body was authorized to issue related to license to import, the process and the sale of certain things. And the next part is the taxation system in the Federated Malay State. Before the British intervention in the Malay State and before the resident system was introduced, there was the tax administration system administered by a Malay chieftains. The Malay State were divided into several districts, and every district have their own chieftain that have power to impose the tax on the people. And the introduction of the resident system in the 1970 to 1880, the British administration took over the task of collecting taxes. And the next one is the establishment of custom union in the Malay Peninsula. There was a conference of Malay rulers for the Federated Malay State, and a proposal to expand the union was put forward. And the formation of the custom union for the Malay Peninsula was only successful formed in 1946 with the formation of the Malay Union in the April 1946. And this department was named by Custom and Excise of Malayan Union. The last part is the establishment of the Custom and Excise Department of the Federation of Malaya. The orderly administration of tax activities in the Malay State has led to the establishment of the Custom Department in the Malay State, specifically to collect the taxes. And with the formation of the Federation of Federated Malay States, efforts arose to unify custom affairs between the states. The formation of the custom union in the Federated Malay State has coordinated all custom regulation between the states. And the next one is the organization structure. For Royal Malaysian Custom Department, it led by the Director General of Custom, which is Datuk Sri Abdul Latif bin Abdul Kadir, and then follow with 3 second man position. The first one is Deputy Director General of Custom, which is in charge in internal tax custom. The second one is Deputy Director General of Custom, in charge in enforcement and compliance. And the third one is Deputy Director General of Custom, which is in charge in management. There's more position that follow. There's more position that under this 3 second position. That's all for me. I pass it to my friend.
So next is functions of the Royal Malaysian Customs Department, also known as RMCD. The Malaysian Customs Department is a Malaysian government agency which is responsible for administrating the nation's tax, indirect tax policy, border enforcement, and narcotic offences. Besides that, it is to implement policies and establish procedures related to industries, import, export, and border control. So, as we can see, custom division can be divided into two categories. First is trade facilitation and industry, which consists of five aspects. The first one is fair warehousing management and control, which to formulate and enforce legislations, policies, and procedures in line with international best practices. Next, facilities and incentive management and control is responsible for evaluation of procedures, policies, and legislations related to duty or tax exemptions granted by Minister of Finance. Third, licensing database management is happen to plan and collect data related to custom matters. Lastly, free industrial and commercial zones and licensed manufacturing warehouse management and control both are responsible to enforcement to enforce the legislations, policy and procedures, also to monitor and enhance regulation. So the second category is import or export and border control, which consists of six aspects. The first is Interagencies Commitment Unit is responsible to conduct a consultation and advise to investors and media on legislations, policy and procedures related to custom matters. Next, Taxation Policy and Analyse Unit is to propose new taxation policies and legislations. Third, Travelers or Border Management and Enforcement is in charge to conduct a feasibility studies on new border stations and legal landing places. Fourth, duty-free island or duty-free shops management and enforcement is to process applications on for import license of intoxicating liquor, tobacco, and denatured spirit. Next, export management and enforcement manage to evaluate and enhance system and procedures to facilitate import and transshipment. Meanwhile, import management and enforcement is managed to evaluate and enhance system and procedures to facilitate exports and transshipment. So that's all the functions in the Royal Malaysian Customs Department. So I will pass my mic to the next panel.
Okay, so next is legal personnel and job specification. Okay, for the Royal Malaysian Customs Departments, there are three legal personnel, which is Senior Federal Counsel, Deputy Public Prosecutor of Federal Counsel, several supporting staffs provided by the RMCD management. Okay, so next is their job specification. I'm going to explain detail about their job specification. Okay, their job specification is to conduct prosecution of customs cases, including cases under the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952, investigated by customs officers. So this is for the Senior Federal Counsel job specification. Okay, other than that, they also expanded from conducting prosecution of criminal cases to also conducting civil cases. So this job specification is for Deputy Public Prosecutor of Federal Counsel, which is they have to conduct the prosecution of criminal cases to also conducting civil cases. Okay, and acted as advisor and drafter to the amendment of the law and regulations made pursuant to all acts enforced by RMCD. So this job specification is for several supporting staffs provided by the RMCD management, which they have to act as advisor and drafter to the amendment of the law and regulation. Okay, so next we're going to move to the cases of RMCD.
there are three cases of RMCD. So I'm just going to give a brief explanation about the first cases, while for the second and the third cases will be explained by Nadia and Anis Iriani. Okay, so first case, Royal Malaysian Customs seized 17.8 million ringgit worth of pangolin scales. So what is the case about? Okay, the case is about a syndicate smuggling pangolin scales and confiscated 17.8 million ringgit worth of scales in its largest seizure yet this year. Or to be detailed, this case is actually happened uh, was actually happened on 31st March 2020. The pangolin scales were hidden in gunny sacks filled with cashew nuts, which the department said was the smugglers' method of sneaking them past customs. The department said in a statement that the importer and the customs agent involved in attempting to smuggle the scales are being probed. So the case was being investigated at that time, and the pangolin scales are banned from import under the International Trade in Endangered Species Act 2008, Act 686. This shows that actually pangolin scales are prohibited to be imported, and their flesh is also considered a delicacy.
The next case that I have studied before is police received reports of halal meat cartel case. This is happened on 2 December 2020 when police received reports on the issue of smuggling frozen meat and falsification of documents believed to have been carried out by a frozen meat supplier warehouse. Later, the reports and the case have been referred to the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs for further action. Meanwhile, a source from the Royal Malaysian Customs Department said it had been reviewed Custom Form 1 K1 to and found two imports through Port Tanjung Pelepas and Port Klang Selangor. Besides that, the frozen meat would be confiscated if it was not placed in Form K1. Then, after being referred to the Malaysian Department of Quarantine and Inspection Service, almost 90% of frozen meat is not allowed into Malaysia as it is an absolute prohibition because it is brought from unauthorized countries such as Ukraine. So that's all the summary of the case.
The third case is about a golden citizen detained with 807 carton of smuggled cigarette. A female citizen was detained with 807 carton of smuggled cigarette of various brand. This citizen was detained by a squad of Marine Police Region 2 members in a special operation. The suspect is the owner of a premise, and the smuggled cigarettes was for supplies to small shop around Yongping. According the head of the Batu Pahat Regional Police, the Superintendent Muhammad Izzuddin Rungai, the captured and stolen item were taken to the Batu Pahat Regional Police Officer for further action. Thank you.